the controversy of being a proud American. In this video, I want to talk about being a proud American coming from someone with a ethnic background. And that's a little bit too like taboo to have, like this type of conversation, but I'm going to put this video out anyway. Growing up, if you were seen wearing a American flag, or I don't know, just having an American flag hanging outside your window, gracefully blown in the wind, you were seen as a traitor. And I can't blame that type of mindset because growing up, we were taught certain things that happened in America with Black Americans, and a lot of people feel some type of way. I can't blame that type of mindset. And me at first, I used to think like that as well. Like whenever I would see the American flag, I would think, traitor or racist. And that's just how the community was growing up. But in recent years, my mindset has switched. And nowadays, I hear a lot of immigrants talking down on America, and I feel like my ears, like, they get kind of cringy when I hear that coming from people that aren't from here. And it's weird and it's very conflicting because I'm a mixture of an American background and immigrant ancestry. So I never had a problem with immigrants coming out here and making a home out here, because I feel like, my ancestors did it too. They came from other places, came out here and made a family. So everybody has a right to go wherever they please. But when I hear them talk down on America, I'm just like, it's just so cringy. When it comes to me talking about Americans, I'm particularly talking about Black Americans, or nowadays, wherever you want to identify yourself, Indigenous, African American, Moorish, whatever. For the sake of the video, I'm going to say Black American because that was the first thing we've all heard growing up. You're Black first, even as a mixed person. So for the sake of the video, I'm gonna just say Black Americans. So anyway, a lot of them view Black Americans as being lazy. And although that's not necessarily true, because there are a lot of hardworking Black Americans, what they promote in the media with the ratchetness, the ghetto-ness, and I do have my ratchet moments, so I'm not trying to sound like I'm not a part of that. I do have my ratchet moments, but it's on and off. It's not all the time. But the point is, what they see on TV, that's what they think that we are in real life. And we can't front like that doesn't go on. Like, we see it all the time in our neighborhoods and the hoods and all that. There are people who act this way. So they're not necessarily, even though that's not all of us that's like that, there is a good amount of us that's like that. If you get what I'm saying, which I'm pretty much sure you do. So I see it like this. If someone walks into your home, and in this metaphor, America is the house. So if someone walks into your home and they see that the place is a mess, there's trash all over the floors, they're not going to take you and your house seriously. And I feel like a lot of us Black Americans had forgotten, not that we have forgotten what happened in the past. I feel like we're so distracted nowadays that we tend to not see what's going on. And if only we knew what it took to build the house, we will have more respect for it. Not saying a lot of us don't, because a lot of us do, but there is a good amount who don't even want to represent the American flag. So, with that said and done, I realized this by doing my genealogy research. There's so much that happened in America when it comes to Black Americans that I can't say this all in one video, and I'm trying not to make it too long. But I just wrote a little bit of bullet points, so I'm just gonna say it because it's just too much. So, what I found in my family tree when it comes to the quote unquote black side or whatever, a lot of them fought in wars, um, World War One, Two, the Civil Wars, and a lot of them owned land, a lot of them farmed, a lot of them was growing tobacco, um, a lot of them invested into things like the Freedmen's Bank, and even invested in their own black cemeteries, which goes unnoticed. That's a whole nother topic. Side note, no, you know what? That's a whole nother topic. Anyway, and where my family's from, down in North Carolina, a lot of them were in the Republican party. Just not my family per se, but the blacks down there, they had their own Republican party. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the start of the Republican Party. And according to the history that happened down in Wilmington, there was a whole massacre because a lot of whites, they were the Democrats, blacks were the Republican. A lot of people were siding with the Republicans, and the whites didn't like that. So they made up a whole bunch of lies like these black men are going to rape out. Am I allowed to say that? A lot of blacks are going to do these things to our wives and kids, and we can't have that. So I don't know, they just made up some things and just like went nuts, and just it's a long history. But so from what happened with all these places, because that didn't just happen in Wilmington, it happened all over. So many black towns that were successful and was run down to the ground. There's this one YouTuber that I've came across on here, and this person goes into more details about it. This person's YouTube name is called According to the Narrative, and this person has a whole video of talking about different towns that were black populated and were run to the ground, massacred, and everything. So, gotta check out that channel. But even though a lot has happened, a lot of our ancestors, they continue to fight and continue to invest in things and continue to build just so we can be here today. So they have just as much, what's the word I'm looking for? Country that we live in today, which is a very privileged country, is all due to not just the white Americans, but the black Americans that helped build this place. Unless you're planning on moving to another place, you should change your perception of, oh, I hate this place, oh, I hate America, blah, 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 to being like, oh, I love this place. Like, look at what my family has done to keep this place up and going for me to live here today and be so privileged. The point is, our ancestors did their thing just for us to be in this privileged country today. So why should we hate the flag? Our blood is just as rooted to this land as other Americans. But yes, I saw that through doing my genealogy research, and I was just like, how can I hate this place? I actually have more respect for this place than I did before. But I feel like I feel like nowadays we're all being distracted by things that are that are that are what is important, and I feel like a lot of the things that our ancestors did in the past is going unnoticed. For example, like the cemetery that I brought up a few minutes ago. So, up here in New York, there are some old black cemeteries, which, side note, a lot of people don't even know that there were blacks up here way before the whole migration movement, when people were just moving. But there's been blacks up here for a long time. According to my family, my family were Lenape, but they were misclassified as mulattoes and Negroes, and strangely Chinese. That's what I saw in one of the documents, but mostly mulattoes and Negroes. But my grandfather and other people in the family had told me Lenape. But whatever, for the sake of this video, they were misclassified as blacks. And there's a lot of black cemeteries up here, but no one knows because you don't see it anymore. There's a lot of stores that were built on top of these graves, and there's one in recent years that was just uncovered, and the people of the town was just like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, let's build the street in their name." And that's all we get. It's not even like there's no justice. So I feel like a lot of the things that blacks did in the past to help build the communities is not going noticed, and therefore we're all getting distracted. Yeah, and I also feel like maybe that's why immigrants feel the way that they do, because I can't blame them for thinking the way they're thinking. It's just that they don't know. They don't know how what has happened in the past and like how it's affected everybody today. So my conclusion, I just feel like the more we come to a realization of everything that our families have done, the more we'll start respecting this place even more and representing the flag and feeling more a part of being an American rather than just a foreigner. And yeah, this video, it was it's kind of weird for me to make, and it's not coming off like just straightforward, because there's so much, and there's so much controversy to this topic, so it is kind of weird to talk about. I'm not so confident in it, but I'm trying. Anybody has resonated with this, I'm glad that you came across this video, and knowing that you are not alone with this type of thinking. There's other people out here who are thinking just like you, even though we're not as vocal or afraid to like speak up on it. But yeah.